What's up, y'all? Straight to the point. Little morning talk. Make sure you hit that like button and sub to the channel too, if you're not a member, and share this video. Now, shout out to Too Raw for TV. He brought this up. Yesterday, and I saw it in the video. Please go sub to that brother's channels. He's got multiple channels. Now, Carmelo, he got on record and basically stated that the better two guard out of the Mamba, aka Kobe Bryant, and Dwade was Dwayne Wade. I want to make something very clear, okay? I used to study Dwade, okay, on the court, because he played my style of basketball, which I think was conducive for the two guard position, especially when you talk about D-Wade on both ends of the floor and in transition. And one can argue, because everybody knows that Dwayne Wade, he did study Michael Jordan, and he studied the young Michael Jordan. There were a lot of similarities, and I'm talking about a young Michael Jordan. Not Michael Jordan when toward the end of his career. Okay, he studied a young Michael Jordan. If you really go back and you go pay attention to D-Wade and how he played, I'm talking about before the injuries. That's the reason why I studied D-Wade. Now, Dwayne Wade, the only argument that you could possibly say is that when they were both in the league, D-Wade won a championship on Kobe's watch. Because he won in 2006. Of course, he had Shaquille O'Neal, but Shaquille O'Neal, he wasn't the main factor on that team. It was D-Wade. That's why he was able to get that, that MVP. People forget that. People forget that title that D-Wade won, and when he won with the Miami Heat. Now, in no way, shape, or form did I ever think that D-Wade was better than Kobe. Now, Kobe, the difference between them, they both studied MJ like everybody else. Everybody studied MJ. I don't care what player you talk about. Everybody took bits and pieces, if not almost everything from MJ. And I don't care what course of his career. There's some people that players study and they bite off of players all the time. Now, Kobe Bryant, when he really started to come into his own, especially I would say in that second and third championship run, I'm talking about the first three-peat in that second and third championship. That's when Kobe really started to emerge himself. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say about, Shaq, he was the dominant force. He won 3 straight finals MVP. Yes, there's no argument there. Shaq was, nobody alive was going to stop Shaq, okay? That's end of discussion. But there were times when Kobe had arrived, and he picked up the pieces, and you saw flashes. And he was the best two guard in the league when during that time, okay, and that was before Dwade had got into the league. Dwade came in. Kobe was by himself, and also we have to take into account that Kobe, he had to go through a transition period in terms of the case and everything like that. And so, to me, Kobe, even going through everything that he went through, Kobe was still able to maintain who he was as a player. People are gonna say that, Carmelo. I know he's probably gonna be biased a little bit. Maybe he's doing that because everybody's gonna be like, whoa, he's gonna stir up some stuff, stir up a discussion. But we all know that that's not true. And the reason why I say that he is probably biased is because they came out of the same draft. And also, a lot of people don't mention this too. Early on, Carmelo Anthony and Dwade, people forget that they made the playoffs. LeBron James didn't. Nobody talks about that though. Now, did they win a chip? Dwade did. And people forget that D-Wade won a chip before LeBron James, but LeBron James is not in this discussion. I want people to not get in their feelings, because it seems like when you mention LeBron James or you talk about LeBron James or something like that, they get so sensitive, like you're talking down. Look, like I told y'all before, leave your feelings in the car. Leave it in the Chevy. Leave it in the foreign, leave it in the slab. And for those of y'all that don't know what a slab is, that's down here. That's an acronym for slow down and banging, meaning a deuce and a quarter, old school, whatever. All right. I never thought that D-Wade was better than Kobe. Now, there was a time when I paid attention to D-Wade a little bit more than Kobe, and I like the younger Kobe. Yeah, it's just in my opinion, I like the younger Kobe. There was some things that the older Kobe did, when Shaq had left and everything. There was some remarkable things, but Fro Kobe was doing some amazing things. I mean, I still haven't seen anybody climb over 2 7-footers and dunk it in Robinson and dunk it on them at the same time. I haven't seen that. People forget how extremely freakish and gifted Kobe was, and he worked hard for it. And that's not to take anything away from D-Wade, because D-Wade did some some crazy things too, especially climbing over the top of Varejao. But see, you could go back and forth of who these people were challenging at the rim. I still have, see, with Kobe, you have memorization of the battles that he went through, and then when they battled each other, they were actually neck and neck, man. They were neck and neck. I can remember in that All-Star game when Kobe, even at his older age, he was frustrating D-Wade, and that's why D-Wade had kind of fouled him, and everybody thought that, they made a big deal about it and everything, but they still had a level of respect for each other. But they had that disdain on the court for one another, which is what you're supposed to have. You're not supposed to like your opponent on the floor, and Kobe didn't like anybody. That's just what it was. It was the same thing with him and Vince Carter. It was the same thing with him and Tracy McGrady. It was the same thing with him and LeBron James. And LeBron and him, would go at it. Just to name a few guys. But in no way, shape, or form is Dwade ever a better two guard than Kobe. Now, if you want to look at it from a standpoint of who won the championship that year, and then say, okay, yeah, at this point in time, Dwade he has the mantle. Then yeah, you could look at it. Some people could look at it that way. This is just like my opinion, like I said. But the thing you have to realize is that Kobe had came back. It took him a couple years, but then he came back and he repeated with the Lakers. And not only that, Kobe had beat their biggest rival in a different conference in the Boston Celtics. I mean, you cannot take that away. Listen, a Larry O'Brien is a Larry O'Brien. You know what I'm saying? It's something special for everybody. Even the Raptors championship that Kawhi won, okay, and that nobody really talked about. Even the Denver Nuggets championship that they won just last season. However, when you talk about the Lakers beating the Celtics, and vice versa, when the Celtics beat the Lakers, those championships, it's something special about those because you're facing a fierce rival. It's like taking down a juggernaut or a David versus Goliath, so to speak. It's like taking down your big brother, you know what I'm saying, or taking down an enemy that you can't stand. You know what I'm saying? That victory is much greater. Okay? And the fact that Kobe, and look, I want to make this clear, Kobe did not do it all by himself, okay? I know some people, that's one of the talking points that I always hear. Well, Kobe did it all by himself. He didn't have nobody on his team. Nah, Kobe had players on his team, okay? Kobe had players on his team. And one thing that I wish is that I wish Andrew Bynum would have stuck with it and developed like how people saw in his potential, because people got to remember, Andrew Bynum came straight out of high school. And Andrew Bynum was working with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And when he was working with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Andrew Bynum had the tools necessary to become potentially a very good, if not great, big man. Andrew Bynum was like a 7'1", 7'2". He was making spin moves. He had nice little moves around the rim. He would throw it down with power every now and then. Like when I still remember when he when he dunked, when he spin on Shaq and then he dunked it, and then he bumped Shaq. Like yeah. And when Shaq was playing with the Heat, and then an older Shaq was like, all right, young fella, chill out, and kind of elbowed him, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was kind of like that uncle fatherly type of, okay, you're getting a little ahead of yourself. But that's the type of potential that you saw with Andrew Bynum. And I just wanted him to make it, but, he got lost in the shuffle just like a lot of players do in the NBA, But yeah, Kobe Bryant was better than D-Wade. Now, I'm not going to say head and shoulders above, because D-Wade was doing some great things. The only thing with D-Wade that set him back, and it set Kobe back towards the end of his career, because the last few seasons, Kobe just wasn't the same, especially after that Achilles injury. His body pretty much had left him because he worked so hard. Kobe was the harder worker. Kobe was the hardest worker. But the thing about it is, getting back to what I was about to just say, is that Dwade injury set him back, and people got to realize how, you know, he would play with reckless abandon. Dwade would, you know, falling to the floor. The only other player that I could think of that played like his style a little bit and was still able to get up game after game, year after year, and still play stretches during an entire season was AI. And you know, AI was shorter and weighed less than D-Wade. Yeah, I think D-Wade was 6'3", 6'4", somewhere around the lines of maybe 200. I don't think a little bit over 200. You know, sometimes, you know, a little bit less, maybe 198, somewhere around there. I don't know the exact weight, but he was a little bit bigger. You know, AI was barely 6 foot. If he was 6 foot, and was maybe you know, maybe $170, somewhere around there. But what I'm saying is that the amount of punishment that both of those players sustained, it set them back towards the end of the career, because it has an effect on your career. You got to think about it. They had injuries too. That's one thing that you can give LeBron James credit on, is that he took care of his body. He never sustained a lot of injury. LeBron just started getting these little knick-knack injuries, and you know, of course, the major injury that kept him out for quite some time. You know, like the groin and some of the other stuff. He didn't start getting that until later on in his career. So yeah, man, Carmelo, man. As much as I like Carmelo, man, he tripping with that one. You know, he really tripping. You know, but hey, it's his opinion. It's just like when White Chocolate J. Will, shout out to him, when he said that, I think he said that, what's his name, MJ would struggle in today's league or something like that. You know, those type of statements, man, I just look at it and I'm like, man, these guys right here, they're saying it, you know, to really get people riled up, or because I know the majority of the people don't even feel that way. And the majority of the people, even if they didn't really like Kobe, they'll tell you, okay, look, I didn't like Kobe. Half of the people, they will say this. They didn't necessarily like Kobe, but they respect him, and they thought that he was the best. That's pretty much a lot of what I would get from a lot of people. You know, when we talked about Kobe Bryant, they would say the same thing about MJ too. Because people got to remember, Kobe wasn't the only one getting booed. A lot of people don't realize MJ got booed too. MJ wasn't very liked around a lot of places either. That's why when Kobe had got booed in the All-Star game, MJ said you can't let the boo. When Kobe had got that that All-Star game MVP, and they booed him in Philly and all that, and Michael Jordan just said you can't let the boos get to you. That's because he understands. You know, y'all like Michael Jordan was just always a hero, and he's my favorite player. He's my starting shooting guard, and he's my favorite player. And he was a villain too. You know, he might have been more heroic than some of those other guys. But man, Michael Jordan had his fair share of people that really couldn't stand him. But Kobe was on a whole, that was on a whole nother level. I never seen a guy be booed in countless arenas and then be able to turn into the bishop. And the reason why I call him the bishop is because he turned haters into believers. When he, Kobe, and another thing is too, I think Kobe had the same mentality too as Jordan like this, right? Kobe wanted to play anywhere, anytime. He don't care who's around, any of that. A lot of people, they saw that. MJ used to do the same thing. MJ had and all players, there's a lot of players that do it too, but there's a lot of players that don't want to get hurt during the off season. They don't want to get hurt. They don't want to risk injury or any of that other stuff. But that's why Jordan had the for love of the game clause in his contract, meaning that he wanted to play anywhere, anytime, and if he got an injury or something like that, the league it would be on him pretty much. And that's what that's what the clause was. Because for a long time, you if you played here, you played there and stuff, outside of there and stuff, you would get, I guess you would get fined for that sort of thing. But MJ had put, he put a clause in his contract stating that he could play anywhere, anytime. And Kobe would do that. And the reason why I bring that up is because Kobe was able to go to the Rucker. And I'm not saying his performance was the best performance, because when he did reverse that time, he did step out of bounds, but the move was still so nice when he reversed on him at the Rucker, and this was in New York, this was on the East Coast, and this was during a time when, he was on the East Coast, on the West Coast and stuff, but you still had fans out there. Listen, a lot of people want to sit up here and they want to be like, oh, I hate Kobe, I hate Kobe, I hate Kobe. But I guarantee you, or I hated Kobe, God rest his soul. But I guarantee you that the main people that's sitting up there saying that they hate him, they'll be the first one ready to run up and take pictures with him and say, I got a Kobe, I got a picture with Kobe and stuff. Because deep down inside, they don't really hate that man. And really, some of the people that you're sitting up here saying that you hate, like all these players and stuff like that, and entertainers and stuff like that, deep down inside, you're just saying that because that's the fanatic in you. You don't really hate those players. It's just like when people say, oh yeah, man, I hate LeBron James, and I hate that. I guarantee you, if LeBron James walked in and everything like that, you'll be quick to be, your groupie would come out, so to speak, and you'll be ready to take a picture and everything. If LeBron James, everybody sit up here and say, oh man, he's trash, he can't do this and he can't do that. If LeBron James walked into the gym, and y'all ready to play 5-on-5 and you need a player or whatever, and you had to pick, of course you're gonna choose LeBron James. So that's what kills me when people are like, oh man, he's trash and he can't do this and he can't do that. Understand what you're saying before you say that, okay? But I'm not trying to make this about, LeBron James. I just wanted to throw that in there. It's just like, as an example, a lot of people, they sit up here and they act like they hate this player and everything, but then when they see that player, or they see that entertainer or something like that, they turn into a fanboy or, a fangirl. Because women do it too. Women do it too. They're like, oh, I can't stand him and stuff like that. I guarantee you, man, if he walked in and stuff like that, man, that box would get wet. Don't try to sit up there and act like you don't like this person or you think this person bad, because the same guy that you hating on or whatever, man, that's the same guy that you know what I'm saying, want to give up the cookies to. But you're not gonna let nobody know. But anyways, man, I ain't even gonna talk about that right now. But man, y'all tell me what you think, man. Do y'all think that Kobe or Dwade was better than Kobe? And I want to hear y'all responses. I'll hit y'all up later.